Hello and welcome to the mastering session for Jackson Card's Takes a Village. I'm going to go over my approach, some of the processing, and a gain matched A/B test at the end, so stick around for that. First up here, at the top of the session is where I start. I put in the mixes and the references and do a quick gain match, as you can see, and I start learning the songs. I make notes at this stage. We can see where it is and then kind of where it has to go. Something else that helps is a frequency analyzer. Now this is not the be-all end-all of mixing. Just because a mid-range looks like it might be good doesn't mean it sounds good. This is just a peak graph. It can be good for moment-to-moment stuff, but it's really just a cross-referencing helper. It's something that I do find kind of fun, just comparing songs and seeing how they do. You can learn so much, and it just goes to show there's not one way to mix a song. But let's get into the next section here. I got 4 iterations. With each one, I'm just kind of building on it and trying to get closer. Kind of like sculpting, honestly, is how I see it. Okay, so the first part of the chain is really to tackle problems. I have 2 EQs and a multi-band up trying to do that. Now this one is where, I'm being a bit more, no, I wouldn't say surgical, but as far as mastering standards go, these are fairly narrow cues. This is definitely a strong choice. I wouldn't just do that if it didn't need it. And same with multi-bands. I don't use them that much, but this is the only one that I will use. I do remember though, this multi-band did a lot for the mix. But then anyways, going on to the next section here, I have the compressor and a Struder A800 tape emulation. These are really for glue, making things feel cohesive. The only last 2 things here, I have a spreader. 40% on this specific one is pretty much as far as I'll go. And then as you can see, it was added as needed, this massive passive. And I'm also doing some of the filtering here. I'm taking out anything above 20,000 hertz and then anything below 23, and very open, very broad cues, which is much more standard mastering practice, right? You're trying to get the whole thing feeling consistent, something that'll translate well. Last up though is the loudness section, which is I have a limiter, I have the Oxford inflator, and another limiter. So this first one is doing probably 75% of the limiting. It is in unity gain mode, as you can see, but then this guy here, not at full percent, but it adds some harmonics, which fills out the spectrum, makes things perceive louder in areas that matter as far as frequency curves go and our perception of them. And then lastly, this is where I'm actually setting the ceiling, and I am using true peak limiting, but only the one time, and doing the last about 25% of it. And now I actually don't dither in Pro Tools or from one of these limiters. Once I print it, I go ahead and do the sample rate, dithering, and bit depth conversion in Isotope, actually. Let's get into some of the listening without further ado. So here's the mix. Right? Here's our first look. Before I get too far into it, I've gone ahead and gain matched again, which I'll show you here. RMS, average volume. Here we go, 16. 16. Now, one of the things that I'm always looking to do with the master is bring out the best in the vocal. And you can hear on this one, it feels kind of like, which we'll really hear at one section. I think it's, yeah, whenever there's more vocals coming in, you can really feel it. Back here. Yeah. Now, even though they're the same level, you can feel a significant bump in perceived volume. I think we were able to bring out some of the best parts of this song. And it affects how you just hear the instruments. It's hard to hear any of the cymbals in this part. Wow, they're not playing there. There you go, right? It's just a bit splashier. It doesn't feel as congested, which this one really does, right? It feels like there's a bit more separation in the instruments and everything feels together, right? Yeah, but otherwise, that's really all I have for you. This is a really cool song. The guy who mixed this is my friend Dane, and from what I know, this guy started singing over COVID, and I think he's doing a great job. I love this song. It's super fun. I was so happy to be able to have a part in this release. It is already out, so you should go listen. Thank you so much for watching.